Guys, there are spoilers for this film and this review, so if you don't want to end up in the mouth of a bear, go out, watch film, then come back. You have been warned. Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Najimy. So yeah, this is going to be a great time. Hey guys, and welcome back to an episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Najimy. In this week, we watched Hoppers, the new Disney Pixar film directed by Daniel Chong and starring Piper Curda and Bobby Moynihan. This film is a sci-fi comedy, and I will say I really enjoyed it. It was really fun, really zany, really weird, and overall it was just a really good time. But before I go on a whole tangent, why I like this film, I'll tell you why I liked it and more back at the house.
What's your name, Beaver?
Babel?
You want to live here, you better learn pond rules.
What are pond rules? The humans have stolen their last inch of land from us.
There he is.
We gotta fight back.
Their treachery ends here, now.
Yeah.
Let's squish the humans.
Yeah. Wait, squish?
They squish us. Why shouldn't we squish one of them?
I really don't think we need to go all the way to squish.
That was intense.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Ticket Tuesday. I am your host, Ronan Time HD, and this week we watched Hoppers, the new Disney Pixar film directed by Daniel Chong, starring Piper Curda, Bobby Moynihan, John Hamm, and Dave Franco. This film is a sci-fi comedy, and I will say, I thought it was very enjoyable. I had a really good time with this movie, and I think really that's just because the movie was just, well, really fun. Right? I think it was really funny. I liked the humor of it. I really liked just the concept of it and the weird shit that they did with it. And I think just the entire second half was just really batshit insane in a good way. And it was just like so weird. Like I think like I haven't seen Disney get this weird in a long time. And it's just like it's just so weird. I know I keep saying that, but you guys know how much I love weird shit, right? You know, the weirder the better. That's like, that's just how I am with movies or really any entertainment that I like. If it gets super out there, if it gets super zany, like the climax of the film is super bizarre, but it's like it's not a weird bizarre. Like it's you know what I mean? Like it makes sense for the movie's story, but it's still like really out there, but in a good way. You know what I mean? It's just like, I just had so much fun with it as well, because I really liked the chemistry of our two main characters, which was obviously Bobby Moynihan's character, King George, and Piper Curda's character, I believe that's how you say her name, Mabel, who they are like, best friends. They're best buds. She's the paw of the king, which of course they don't have hands. She's not the hand of the king. They have paws. She's the paw of the king. And it's just, I guess I like their relationship because they're like looking out for each other, even though she's a human. Well, he doesn't find out that she's a human till later, but even though they're like in reality two different species, they can work together. Even at the end of the movie, when he figures out that she's a human, he's not even really that mad at her that she lied to him. He's just sad and disappointed, right? Which I appreciate, because obviously a lot of, like, maybe not even just animated movies, like a lot of movies have like a liar revealed trope where, the two like best friends, they're like best buddies the whole movie, and then at the very end they'll figure out that one is lying to the other one, and they'll have a big argument, and there's like a big sad moment, like a montage of how sad everybody is, and it's very cliche, right? And they do the liar revealed thing here, but they do it a little differently in that, and I appreciate it, because he's not mad. They don't have like a big, argument about it. They don't like really get angry at each other. They're just both sad, He's just disappointed. But in the end, they're still friends, and they still work together, because, earlier in the movie, he says that, he trusts everybody. right? He tries to give everybody a chance. And essentially that's because he doesn't think, he says like, trust is like a dam, you know, it leaks sometimes, right? Trust leaks, but it doesn't, well, like dams can break, but he's saying that it doesn't have to break, essentially, is that you can always fix the leaks in a dam, like you can fix the leaks in trust, is essentially what he's saying. So he'll give people second chances. He's a very trusting, he's a very nice guy. He's a chill dude, or a chill beaver. He's not really a dude. Well, I guess he's like a dude, but he's not a human dude. That's a lot of dudes in one phrase. Either way, they were like the heart and soul of the movie, was obviously their chemistry and them bouncing off of each other, but they also had the crew. You had, Loaf, I believe his name. He was like this really lazy, like yellow beaver that never opened his eyes. He was fun. There was a bear. I don't remember her name, but she was a fun character. Like they would like ride her like a steed sometimes. And it's like, imagine how cool that would be if you could ride a bear. That's metal as fuck, you know. I'd love to ride a bear. It's probably really dangerous, but it'd be cool. Just imagine how cool I would look. Either way, then they had a little lizard guy who was all over the marketing, even though he was like the least focused on member of the group, right? I mean, obviously you gotta have like marketing. You gotta have marketing to get people to watch the movie, like a certain character, this and that. But I feel like it was just a little weird to me that he was the most focused on one. I guess obviously since he was like the comedic relief character, and usually with like, you know, family movies or certain movies, they, you know, advertise like a quirky or like funny looking character for the marketing, if just because they look funny. But even though they're not that important, I mean, he's important because he's a member of the crew, but I'd say he's the least important. Either way, all I'm saying is that I'm kind of rambling here. I also liked how the villain of this movie was just like, was great. It was Dave Franco, and I didn't even know that it was Dave Franco at first. There was a lot of surprises when I looked up this movie. That fucking Bobby Moynihan played George, that John Hamm played Jerry the mayor, and that fucking Dave Franco was the villain of the movie as a, like, evil butterfly that wanted to kill every single animal on Earth so that he wanted to squish all the humans on Earth and all the other animals so that the insects could rule the world. Right? That's essentially his master plan. And his idea of squishing all the humans was that they created all this. So Jerry, like the like corrupt mayor, wanted to build a highway over this glade that could make a trip through the highway 4 minutes faster, right? And he was basically tearing down this like parts of this forest so he could build something there. And he installed like a fake tree that played a sound that only animals could hear, and it would annoy them, so they would run away. So eventually Mabel as a beaver took it down, but he was like, fuck that, and he installed a fuck ton more. So then there were a bunch at this rally that was supposed to like hype it up. So then, get this, the insect kidnapped all the main human characters, and then they made a robot. A human robot, because, you know, there was the animal robots that they were possessing. So instead of it being an animal robot, it's a human robot that the animal was possessing. That's actually a robot of the mayor, so that he could... So they had a setting on the fucking... So apparently these speakers that would play a vibration that only animals could hear, apparently you could turn it up to where humans could hear it, and it's so aggressive that it would basically explode our ears and kill us, right? It would murder us. I don't know why that's a setting on these speakers, but it is. So that he pretends to be Jerry in this robot suit, in this, like, mechanism, and then he goes up there, and he has this button, and then the entire climax is literally just this evil Dave Franco butterfly trying to murder all these humans, and just, like, laughing maniacally, like, just being the most comedically evil, like, person in the entire movie. He was so funny just for how ridiculously... I mean, I guess technically from his point of view, he's not being evil, Because, he's sick of being squished. The insects are sick of being the bottom of the food chain. They want to rule the world. They want to get revenge on all the animals that eat them and all the humans that step on them without a second thought. They want to be the supreme species. And of course that doesn't work out, because how the fuck would you do that? That was never going to work out to begin with. And one thing I also like is that, like, literally the whole climax is just that, them fighting this evil butterfly. And then, well, that's not the whole climax, but that's the lead to it. And then they climb up this tree and he falls down and it starts a whole fire that basically almost burns down the glade, and then it fucking nearly reaches the human city and nearly destroys the human city. But then the animals, work together to break the dam, and water flows through the forest and puts out the fire. But then they actually kill the villain. He actually dies. So he admits his plan, right? But then they destroy the robot that he was in, the Jerry robot that he was in, and it gets destroyed and he gets shot back out of the machine. And then he's basically saying, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, hyping up this and that. He's like, you are all whatever. And then the frog, the frog king, the amphibian king, who's a frog, just eats him. He just goes. I mean, having a Disney villain actually die, I don't know, again, maybe I just haven't seen that many recent Disney movies, but they don't usually kill them anymore. Usually they just, go to prison or whatever. They don't usually kill them anymore, which is stupid. Now they gotta get their comeuppance. Come on. Kill those motherfuckers. Death! I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Either way, I just thought that entire second half of the insects wanting to squish all the humans was amazing. Then there was a scene where they had a shark named Diane that was being carried by birds in a car chase. And they were they threw the shark on top of the car. So she was trying to eat the Jerry dude while he was driving the car. And it was just ridiculous in all the best ways. That second half was fucking zany to the max, and I loved it. There's so many fun stuff from the second half. And the first half was good too, but dude, that second half was so good and unexpected. I loved it. Either way, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but I really, really enjoyed this film, if you couldn't already tell. And even though I've spoiled some of the best parts of the movie, I'd still recommend it. I still thought it was a really enjoyable film. I thought it was a really good time. And I think you could get enjoyment out of it too. I mean, yeah, it's technically a kid's movie, but I think even an adult could still get enjoyment out of this film. It doesn't necessarily need to just be for kids or just be for families. I think it's just overall a really enjoyable film that I would highly recommend. And, well, before I haven't said all I need to say, because I need to rate it. So you might ask, Ronan, what would you rate this film? And even though you might not have asked that question, I'm still going to answer it because I asked it. I think I would rate this film an 8 out of 10. And, yeah, I think I've something to say. I think I've something to peace. So guys, I hope you like this video. Share it with your friends. Subscribe. Turn those notifications on. Comment down below on how much you liked it. But you guys know how it goes. I didn't really mean to say that. What I really meant to say, so if you guys hated this video, unsubscribe, dislike, and tell me how much you hate me in the comments. And I've been Ronan Time HD, off to summon an apex predator. So I was watching this movie, right, and I did some research on it after I watched it. And I actually figured out that this is the first original Pixar, well, I guess the most successful original Pixar film since Coco, which was 9 years ago. Which I don't know if that's a testament to the viewers, the world, or Pixar, but I think that's a pretty crazy fact. Either the world needs to step up its game, or Pixar needs to step up its game. Hold up. If you really think about it, if you tweaked this movie a little bit, you could make it into a body horror movie. Maybe 100 years from now, when it's in the public domain, get on that. I won't be alive. You probably won't be alive either. But maybe our descendants will be able to enjoy a Hopper's fucking body horror movie. Think on that one.